I was sending her texts. It was clearly too many, but I just couldn't help myself. I was too excited. I thought I had texted myself out of contention. And then out of nowhere, I got a text like, hey, want to come over? And it wasn't like a late night thing. It was like middle of the day. That feeling of like, I'm fucking back.
Oh my God.
I'm fucking back.
It's the best.
I'm back. I was never dead. I was totally wrong. She liked all those texts. She likes getting texts. I'm going to send her some more.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please.
Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course, you were.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I'm Julio, sitting here with my buddy Francis.
Here I am.
He's doing what he does best. He's sitting there sipping out of a, what are those things called again?
This one's a
Hydro flask.
Camelback, but I like the hydros better.
Drinking out of a water bottle, doing his thing, looking comfy.
Yeah, baby.
And we're sitting here in the air conditioning amidst this summer heat wave. Summer is upon us.
Yep. Are you concerned about global warming?
Yeah. I always sort of have been.
What's your plan?
My like personal plan of action.
Yeah, what's your plan?
Hoping
What's your 20-year plan?
For global warming?
Well, let's say that if temperatures continue to rise and it just New York becomes uninhabitable somehow. I don't know that it would, but you know, I personally I'm pretty close to not being able to live here due to how hot it is in the summer.
This is but it's sort of always been this hot.
No.
Really?
Here's the thing.
But according to what? Are you like quoting statistics or is this just you saying, man, it's hot?
This is me.
Yeah, but dude, that happens every year. Every year we forget how the seasonable weather affects us.
Yeah. I don't recall stretches in New York City when I first moved here 11 years ago where you had 95 on the weather app for 8 days in a row. You have 2 to 3 days.
Fine. But like, I don't know. The European thing is the most sort of illuminating.
That's tough. Here's another one. I grew up I was born in New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I lived in New Jersey till I was 4, and then we moved to Maine. When I lived in New Jersey, I very well recall sledding a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Snowstorms, big time snowstorms, blanketing, encompassing snowstorms. Blizzards, snow days, road closures, all of that. I remember it being a winter wonderland in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen anymore.
But you don't live in New Jersey anymore.
I don't think they get big snowstorms. I don't think they get snow.
I did. Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
We had one snowstorm this winter. One.
Yeah, but in the city, it doesn't stick as much because there's so much going on.
Dude,
but then, like outside of the city, like my parents will still get snow.
They're north of here.
Not by much.
Talk to people from New Jersey. Ask them when the last time was that they went sledding. And
Ryan?
They'll say years ago. When was the last time your parents went sledding?
They're adults, dude.
I don't think
Adults
my
go
parents have
sledding.
ever gone sledding.
Your brother.
All I can say is I remember there being a lot of snow when I was growing up too.
Yeah. Not no more.
I remember being in Jersey for Christmas the last 3 or 4 years, and as a child, it was always snowy.
Not a flake.
And it's not as snowy now.
There's no flakes. No flakes. Not a flake.
All right, we're gonna have to leave this down to statistics because your guys' childhood memories versus adulthood are just like it's not compelling. It's not compelling testimony.
Very compelling.
We'll get some facts by Ryan here.
Expert witnesses.
We'll see. I know, and that's fine. You know what I mean? It's to act like global warming isn't a thing. It seems as if that's silly at this point.
let's say that it does continue to get really bad, right? And all of a sudden it just is insane. 115 degrees or 110 degrees here, with 1,000,000,000% humidity in the summers. Where are you gonna go?
So, dude, it's funny you mentioned this. So I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna go, but it brings up an interesting point. I was reading an article the other day, and I forget what this is called. It's called like wet towel. It's called something, but it's some kind of measurement that indicates what the human threshold for heat plus humidity is. And apparently, like, they are estimating that there are going to be places where like those two things are too high and humans won't be able to survive because your body, you'll start cooking. Yeah. It was like one of the most sort of like startling global warming things that I've read in a while. And I don't know, I forget some of the specifics, but yeah. So shit like that is terrifying. Like usually when it's really fucking hot, it's dry. So I'm like, Arizona being 110 isn't out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think the hottest ever recorded temperature was in Death Valley, 135 degrees or something, which was tied, like it happened recently, but it had also happened previously in like 1913, I think. So then you'll hear things like that. Was I right about that? Thank you.
Julio, I know where you're going with this.
I'm not going there. I'm not saying, like just because they used to be hotter then, it was not global warming. I do still think it's global warming also, but I'm hoping, and they always say, they're like, if we can be net zero for the next 10 years, like we can really slow the sort of like demise of the ozone layer and blah, 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 blah. But it just seems as if that's potentially not going to happen.
No, I think we're toast. I think we're fucked. 100% fucked.
But then I think when I start to think that, I'm like, well, maybe that just means that like my grandkids are fucked or their grandkids.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I don't look to anybody who denies global warming. I just think they're fundamentally wrong. Right. Mm. And I have no problem with someone being like, yeah, I just don't care. Let's go out guns blazing. This is our last hurrah. I'm glad I was born in the last sort of livable period of human existence. And I'm going to make the most of it, and I don't give a shit. We've crossed the point of no return. The earth is headed for extreme weather events that will ultimately make it uninhabitable somehow, wipe out the human population, and then maybe life will begin again once every car has stopped working and all the people are choking out the ozone layer and all of that. But who knows? Who cares? I don't care. I'm gonna live my way. I'm gonna keep the AC blasting. I'm gonna fly around and all that. And that's fine. I don't care. It's fine. If that's who you want to be, go for it. I don't give a shit. But I do think the only chance that we actually have at this point is for someone like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or a team of people like that to come up with some earth-changing technology, some scientific advance that no one has seen coming, that maybe they're working on right now, that will either be, putting fucking hundreds of square miles of mirrors in flat lands that will reflect sunlight back out of the atmosphere, or
what does that do?
It means if you could find a way to block the sunlight that's coming through, you wouldn't be cooking the atmosphere as much. I think. I mean, fuck, I don't know. And it's either that or like creating some kind of artificial cloud cover or something that will slow the rising sea levels and the melting of the ice caps, which are imperative for proper weather conditions. That's the only chance we have, and if that doesn't happen, we're fucked. I think that's where we are, and I'm just sort of resigned to it. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to not try to pollute and not and consume as little as possible and all that. But I don't know. I can't get strung out about it because I ultimately it would just make me too upset, and therefore I'm going to live with it.
Yeah, I tried it. Yeah, and every time I'll read something that's like, oh, all these countries committed to having net zero emissions, and it's our only chance. But it's starting to feel as if the sentiment has shifted toward, well, we missed our chance.
Well, it's that, and it's also that every time that there is some sort of binding agreement, some country has a change in power and they renege on their commitment.
I don't think we are in it.
We pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords.
We re-entered them though, right?
We have now, but it's like we spent 4 years being like, fuck you guys,
right?
We're going back to coal.
Yeah, and it's also harder in sort of developing countries.
Totally.
And I get it. It's like like life. Some people are gonna die anyway. If you know what I mean. Like people are gonna from not having whatever economy situation going on. I don't know.
Did you ever watch the Elon Musk Back to Space documentary?
No, it's cool.
Yeah, he had a line in it that was interesting. I mean, his desire for space travel feels more noble to me than just some billionaire wanting to put his name on a different planet.
I agree. I think he gets people give him a hard time.
They do.
And did you see that meme about him shirtless? He was getting a lot of shit for that.
What, for being so pale or something?
No, he just like his bathing suit was jacked way up, and he he's a little overweight. But the guy's like in his 50s or something.
Yeah. What do you want from him?
Poor guy. He can't go out on a yacht.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
Elon, dude.
his line in that movie was, humans were never meant to be a single planet species.
Interesting.
Or that, like, in order for the continuity of human civilization we need to become an interplanetary species.
It's like a sci-fi movie.
It's
dude.
cool.
It's cool.
And it's obvious to him, you know, that's like, we need to colonize Mars. We need to build stuff on the moon. I don't know what it is, and and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I was watching a thing on the plane about like other world, like things that are similar to an Earth, for example, and other galaxies that they've discovered. And one thing that they found was like very, very similar to Earth, but it was out of orbit. It was just kind of floating through space. But they suspected that it was once in orbit. And then they're like, well, how did it get out of orbit? Which is sort of like a scary idea. You know what I mean? If somehow we got kicked out of our orbit. And the theory that they have is that they were orbiting two suns somehow. And that like at some point the suns interacted with each other and kind of expelled the planet. But they're like, imagine living in a place where there were two sunsets. And then they're like, every time we make a discovery, it just makes 100 more questions. Like, what was two sunsets like? Yeah. Like
double the makeouts.
But were they like, did it just make a perfect temperature? Yeah. Or was it too hot? Or like, it's all that kind of shit, man. It bums me out that I'm not going to live that long. Like I'm not saying I'm going to die soon, hopefully, knock on wood, but like, by the time we're old or whatever, like the amount of advances and the things that they're going to learn after we're already dead, that like bums me out a little. That I'm not going to get to see all these unanswered questions be answered about dark matter and whatever.
Yeah.
Life in the universe.
Oh, you have that thought, and then you think, well, what were people in the 1910s thinking they were bummed out to miss out on?
Right.
And I think that what we've gained over them is so vast and so much better.
It's crazy.
In some ways, then that it gives me peace about my own FOMO for future generations.
Right. Yeah, I guess we have dude, like Danny Palmer is very obsessed with space. He'll be like, dude, like one grain of sand, man, has thousands of galaxies in it, dude. That's like how big the universe is.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll tell you what you can't do is when you're having conversations with your spouse or pending spouse about when you want to start trying to have children, using the global warming threat as a reason to not have children. That doesn't work.
I don't want to bring them into this world.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said. It's
Did you try to pull
why
that?
do you want to condemn your kids to
dog.
cook?
Right,
why do you want to bring your kids into a preheated oven that's only going up? I don't know. It seems pretty sick.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
It's pretty sick.
It's pretty fucking sick.
So, and they're just gonna hate us.
Our kids?
For what we've done.
I mean, you've been an ally. I mean, you've been good about not. I'm the one drinking.
Yeah, but they don't
they
don't give a fuck about what I've done. It's all of us. You know,
our generation.
If you're the kids, let's say the teenagers who watch, let's say, 20 million people in India die because they go underwater. They just die. Their people start dying everywhere because the sea levels have risen and land goes underwater, and there's crazy fucking I don't know whatever it is, storms and things that just kill way more people. You're gonna be mad at us for not doing more, to stop it when we knew it was happening.
Right. And even more so, like politically, I mean, global warming, they say, has been like the biggest source of sort of like unrest in the past XYZ amount of years, just because of people being displaced and, you know, droughts that cause people not having enough food, which leads to, you know, political instability. Like when you can't feed your populations, and it gives rise to these sort of like sketchy groups and these uninhabitable places that then become these bastions for terrorism and rebel groups and shit. So it's not, you know, it's in everybody's best interest, I think, to try to do something about it. It's just kind of what does
We've had a pretty good run though, you and I.
In life?
We've reached an age where if the earth just exploded tomorrow for some reason that we don't know about,
we've done a good job.
We got a good taste.
We got a good taste.
We got a good taste, man. 33, 36, you know,
doing our thing.
Like, what more do I need to have done? I'd like to get to Japan.
Yeah.
Before.
I'd like to do that.
I'd like to get to Japan and sample some really good, you know, I guess, ramen.
Where is part of you like when you're reading that proposed immunization list, you're like, why don't we just go to Japan?
No, I think we're going to the right place because we like animals.
Yeah.
But there's this, as I've said to you before, there's this heightened urgency to see the world, both from the standpoint of we may want to have kids soon, and also that the world's not going to be available for much longer, potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, dude, like you said, though, in your lifetime, in theory, you should be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll be fine. But my point is, okay, moving north, we're going to have to move north, maybe, right?
To Maine.
I don't like the hot weather. Yeah, go to Maine. Should I buy 400 acres of uninhabited land in Maine?
Hoping that
you can
one
get
day
it for like 150 grand.
Maybe.
Should I buy it right now and then sell it off?
Maybe
as the desperate people start fleeing north?
Could be. Yeah, could be a good move.
Problem is, they're not going to buy it from me. They're going to make me fight them off.
Oh, they're going to start squatting?
They're going to say, all bets are off. We're fleeing. We've got a gun. We've got guns. Come take it from us. Take it back. So then I'm going to have to invest in some sort of electrical grid to vaporize them as they step onto my property. By a pack of hounds. Vicious hounds. Rip the meat from their Achilles. That's my thought. How you been? What's your you traveled a lot.
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Let's hear about that.
Well, I think first I have some interesting discussion sort of spurring topics here.
Excellent.
That I hope you find interesting. So let's talk. So Hill and I went on a trip. I don't want to talk about that first. First, I want to talk about being in Florida. I was in Florida recently. I did a weekend side splitters.
Yep.
And it was great, man.
Pretty
it was nice to be in the mix. It's the first sort of like comprehensive comedy weekend I've really ever done.
Headlining weekend.
I've done like Friday, Saturday before elsewhere, but this is, you know, Thursday through Sunday. 6 shows. It's a lot of comedy. It was a lot of fun. So a couple interesting things happened. I want to hear some of your thoughts about this. So first of all, the Friday night, this is the Thursday night show. A listener of the pod was there, and as there was a few at all the shows. Thank you everybody who came. It was awesome to see all of you and meet you, all that stuff. So the two guys who were opening for me were hanging at the bar already with one of the people who listens to the pod and her friend. Now, so this is where I think the discussion comes up. So these two guys are trying to figure out who can they maybe whatever
do the old two-step with.
And the one so it seemed like one of the girls was maybe into one of the openers, right? And we decide we're all going to meet them at a bar. So we go to the bar, and one of those, the girl who was interested in the guy, gets sick and doesn't go out.
Oh.
So the remaining person is the person who I know listens to the podcast. And it's unclear if she's into these guys or not. And then toward the end of the night, I think maybe she either settled for him. She's like, this is going to be my best shot, and this is a fun night. Or maybe she grew to like him, and they ended up having a fun night. They had a fun night together, okay? The next day, the original girl texts him and is like, hey, what's up? What are you up to? do you want to meet up?
I'm feeling better. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I do. Let's meet up or whatever. They're figuring it out, whatever. So then later in the weekend, he ends up going to meet up with the original girl who he spent the night with, not the one who liked him initially.
Did he hang out with the sick girl or no?
They ended up not hanging out, but they were planning to.
Okay. Yeah.
So now they're at this bar, and he kind of casually brings it up. He's like, "Oh, I had been talking to your friend, and she was saying that we were going to maybe meet up last night." She's like, "What? Are you serious? Why would you be like, I spent the night with you on Thursday. Why would you be talking to her?" And he's like, "Oh, I just thought." And then it started like torrentially downpouring, so they just had to like sit there together for another half an hour, which is hilarious.
Wait a second. Whoa. Okay. So you're telling me he let that out by accident.
It wasn't even by accident. He didn't necessarily think that there was an issue that these two would be sharing him or perhaps, taking turns.
Why would he not think that would be a problem?
I don't know. He should have he should have realized. But here's my question. Do we think that the Oops fan is now upset at me somehow?
At you?
Yes.
No.
Am I somehow, because she said, she's like, I think she told him to fuck off, as perhaps he deserved.
Yeah. No, you're not culpable at all. What are you supposed to do? Tell him you have to choose. You must choose.
She came to an Oops.
You must make the choice.
Make the choice. She came to an Oops event, an Oops sponsored event, and had a nice time initially, but when all was said and done, perhaps had a bad taste in her mouth.
No. First of all,
am I to blame in any way? And should I discourage openers from stooping fans?
Let's be clear about something. It is not an Oops sponsored event. We are when we are on the road ourselves, unless you're coming to an Oops live show, you can't hold us as a group, as a unit, as a brand accountable.
This is Francis just saving his own ass here.
Because I could also do something stupid and I wouldn't expect the blowback to be on you.
Totally.
And I'm not even saying that there's no blowback on you and there's no blowback on the podcast. We are out in the world. We're doing our own things, and we are certainly not responsible for our openers or people that are traveling in our harem. And their romantic choices.
Mm-hmm.
So, if she were to boycott the podcast as a result of this, I guess liaison went sour, I would feel bad, but not responsible.
Right. I mean, I had no, what am I supposed to do?
No.
We all hung out. It was fun. And I'm sorry that it didn't work out for those two, but hey,
With that said, let's think about what he did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things were leading in a certain direction with one of the girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
That girl got sick.
Mm-hmm.
What was she sick with?
Unclear. Drinking too much, perhaps.
Oh. Well, you know what? Then, okay. If that's what happened, then, so she left. She's not the one that got mad.
No.
And then the other girl remained. He went home with that girl.
Correct.
Then the next day, the sick girl texted him, said, let's hang out. He said, sure, let's do it. He never did.
And he never ended up, but they were trying to. And, in her defense, they were sort of saying they were sending back very flirtatious messages.
Oh.
So, she could maybe argue that she put her flag in him first.
Were the girls friends?
Yes.
So I blame them. There was no friendship respect there. At the very least, there should have been some communication that said, oh, are you feeling better? Yeah, I'm feeling better. In fact, I hope to see that cute guy again that I was flirting with last night. And then the other girl should be like, funny you should say that. I gotta let you know. Unfortunately, after you left, one thing led to another, and I went home with him. And then the sick girl should probably be like, oh well.
So we don't know the specifics of that yet. I don't know if they both knew. I don't know if sick girl knew that, the remaining surviving girl had
Healthy girl.
if the healthy girl had conquered, the man available that night or not. Like I don't know if she knew, or I don't know if they had discussed that.
If she didn't know, they probably, I would think, should have cleared that, either from healthy girl just telling her, or whatever. And if they didn't know, I don't know where I was going with that.
Regardless, though, it is an interesting. It's an interesting discussion topic.
So complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's. I think it's funny that your friend just didn't think that there would be any issue whatsoever.
Yeah. I'm not surprised knowing him, but
by telling healthy girl.
But yeah, he sort of like thought he wasn't doing anything wrong, and lo and behold.
And then the rain started, and they were stuck.
They were just sitting there, yes.
In with dislike.
Awkwardly sitting next to each other.
She didn't like him.
She was upset with him.
She was mad at him.
Yeah.
He couldn't dig himself out?
I don't think so. I don't think he was ever able to.
I would have thought he would have been able to dig himself out.
Yeah. Tough sell at that point.
Wow.
I think there may have been nasty messages exchanged later.
Ooh.
Or at least sent.
Ooh. Hate to see that.
Ooh. So, hey,
that.
There it is. What are you going to do?
Yep. What are you going to do? Well, that's funny. All right. So, okay, what else?
Well, okay, this is another interesting thing. So one of our friends who was down there with us, he's a guy who he gets into a lot of fights. And the fights he gets into are pretty funny because this guy doesn't lose fights. So what'll end up happening is people will provoke him and he'll give them an opportunity to stand down. He'll be like, you should apologize or I'm going to blast you in the face. He loves to say blast in the face.
Punch them?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Bro, I have a video of this guy piling 3 guys on top of each other. He's like 300-0, including the cage. He used to fight professionally.
This is a friend of yours?
Yes, and comedian. Who I don't want to like incriminate him, so I'm not going to like say.
Come on. At this point,
I'll just tell you.
They know who opened for you, and it would probably be pretty clear.
I made it. I didn't say whether or not this person was opening or performing or not on purpose, to maintain the level of ambiguity in case somehow he would get in trouble.
Well, I'll tell you this much: with the first story, people could definitely figure it out.
Well, regardless, this is now the second story.
Okay.
And so. So this guy, bro,
you're like human number one of the 2 options that there were.
Well, dude, he fights. So anyway, he'll get into these fights and he'll typically win them, and we kind of enjoy hearing the stories.
That's crazy, by the way.
Yeah. So he'll be like,
you are friends with someone who gets into street fights
all the time
at this age.
It's wild. And dude, he'll be like, do you apologize? And they'll be like, fuck you, and then he just beats their ass. It's crazy.
How has he not gone to jail? You can't do that.
I don't know. But dude, I have videos. Like, it's not a lot.
I'd like to see these
I'll show
videos.
you. So anyway, another person that we're down there with, there was a big squad. He's like, so what's the last fight you got into? Thinking like, oh, this would be, and he goes, funny story. And he then tells us the craziest fucking story ever. This is what happened. They're on like Bleecker Street late night. They're trying to get into a taxi. And they hail it down, whatever. And this other guy and his girlfriend are like, no, we called that taxi. And they're like, no, we did. And kind of a little back and forth like that. And the guy starts talking shit. And if you and I were in that situation, we might just be like, all right, dude, whatever, take the taxi. But these guys are not like back down guys. They're like, dude, fuck you. No, like, going back and forth saying shit. It ends up escalating somehow to a point where he then gets in it with the guy's friend a little bit. They kind of start scuffling. And the guy looks over at the friend and he's like, dude, I think that guy just stabbed me. And he had stabbed him with like a 5-inch blade.
Stabbed who? Who got stabbed?
Not the friend that I've been talking about, his friend. Not the guy who wins all the fights. The other guy. He had been stabbed. And he was like bleeding pretty bad. It's like fucking scary. And he goes, dude, go chase that guy and like get him. So they call 911. There's an ambulance on the way. He starts chasing the guy down, the knife guy.
I'm not chasing a guy that just stabbed my friend.
Nor would I.
I'm sorry.
Nor would I.
We're fixing you first.
100%. So, dude.
And then hoping that some bodega has security footage that we can figure out.
So, dude. So it turned out that the guy, he was within a minute of dying. His lung had filled up with blood so high that if it had filled up like a tiny bit more, heart would have collapsed. He would have been dead.
Oh my God.
Ambulance came. He's fine. Thank God. Crazy.
Wait, do you have any idea how they fixed him? What do they do?
No, I don't. I'm not sure. I thought about that too.
Isn't that internal bleeding? Is that internal bleeding?
I think
Would
so.
you call it that?
Yeah. I don't know how one stops that
Okay.
or whatever.
All
So
right.
anyway, fight friend is now chasing this guy for blocks. He's like, I'm in better shape than you. He's yelling this out. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to beat your fucking ass.
God.
And you're going to jail. This is what he's saying. And he won't stop chasing. Fuck you, man.
They're sprinting
through downtown New York City.
The village.
The West Village. Bro, he eventually catches him, dives on him, pins him to the ground, takes the knife away from him, and holds him down until the police show up and arrest
Oh, that's
the guy.
really nice.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's
though?
nice, though. He
I know.
didn't beat him.
I know. And to your point about the security cameras, 8 cops pull up with guns drawn on both of them.
Oh, my God.
They don't know what's happened. And they're like, no, whatever. The girlfriend of the guy's like, he was trying to touch me. She's like lying, making shit up. And some like good Samaritan was like, I saw the whole thing, what happened type of thing. I don't know. Like he was chasing him. He stabbed his friend, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, all right, they still bring him down to the station because they need to corroborate the story. They were able to pull up HD comprehensive multi-angle footage almost immediately.
That's unbelievable.
Exonerated. He gets to go home. But now he has to like testify in front of a grand jury, blah, blah, blah. This
Yeah.
guy's going to do 20 years, 15 to 20 years.
That's a dishonest mistake right there.
Yes, that is.
Yep. You cannot stab somebody and say,
What
like,
the
honest
fuck?
mistake. Yeah.
15 to 20 years,
Yeah.
dude, over fighting about a taxi. It's so stupid. It's not worth it. And like the fight man remains undefeated, but still, it's a dangerous game he's playing.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man. What do you, Jesus Christ, dude.
Crazy.
You need to tell him to retire. Because
It's crazy.
that's knives. Knives? Really?
Dude, I know.
All it would take
I know.
is for the guy with the knife I assume they're sprinting away from me,
Mhm.
they're running around. And for him to just turn at the right moment and as your buddy dives, for him to kind of just
I know.
somehow get that right, I
Dude, it's
guess.
crazy. Fucking crazy. Anyway,
Oh
so we were like,
God.
wow, dude, we were not expecting that. Holy shit.
That's crazy, man.
Um,
When I worked at the district attorney's office, I remember a case that I sat in on the trial for it, where it was someone had been stabbed. It was up in Spanish Harlem. A group of guys got out of a nightclub up there, and they were hanging out. They got out of their car, like milling around, probably 4 a.m. or later. And then some other guys came up and started scuffling with them, and then one of the guys got stabbed.
Jeez.
And you could see it.
Getting stabbed is scary, bro.
It's really bad. And he got stabbed in the lower left side, I think, and it went into his liver.
Oh my God.
I think it's his liver, or it was either his liver or his what's the thing that cycles your pee?
Bladder.
It was either his bladder, either kidney or liver. Yeah. I can't remember exactly which one. And they brought in expert witnesses to testify, including the chief of surgery at the hospital who treated the guy who'd been stabbed. And I'll never forget the criminal defense attorney who had been appointed to defend the guy who had stabbed the victim.
Mhm.
Is cross-examining the chief of surgery, who, is a brilliant, very well-spoken surgeon. So quite a compelling witness to have on the stand.
Mhm.
And he's asking him about, trying to basically make it seem as though the injuries were non-life threatening,
Mhm.
so as to give his client, his defendant, a less harsh sentence or whatever. And I remember the moment where he was like, well, you did this procedure, right? And he was like, yes. And he was like, couldn't you have done this one given the size of the wound? And he goes, not when the injuries are life-threatening, as they were. And it was like that sentence sealed the deal.
Yeah.
I remember it very clear as day. I was listening to this, like, trials, unlike TV, they're long, they're boring a lot of the time. And this guy who was so well-spoken and so trained medically said that, and you could almost see all the members of the jury kind of like settle back in, being like, we've made up our minds.
Mhm. Yeah.
You could feel the moment where the whole case turned. And even the defense attorney was like, I'm fucked. You're fucked, guy.
And then what was the sentence?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't think I stuck around for that long. I think the trial probably dragged on for a couple more days. They call so many witnesses. But
Crazy.
he had because he managed to sew up the either the kidney or the liver. He sewed it
Okay.
to
Oy.
stop the organ from
Oh.
leaking or becoming infected or whatever. And the guy survived. He was all right, but obviously it doesn't take a big Bowie knife.
Right.
It doesn't take a Crocodile Dundee knife to die from a stabbing
Yeah.
wound.
It's crazy.
A little something you could shave a pear with, or
Could
an
do it.
apple or something.
Right, if you hit it in the wrong spot. Yeah, and apparently the thing that's fascinating though is like apparently your like internal organs, like if they can heal, apparently they heal at like so much faster than like the outside of your body.
Interesting.
Yeah. So apparently that guy, he had a punctured lung, but it like healed in like a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always wonder about broken ribs.
Yeah.
I don't understand how those heal.
Same.
Because people break ribs all the time and there's nothing to be done.
Also, is this a stupid question? But like, where does it go? Does the rib just like fall down?
Well, so I don't think it's,
if
do
it
you
like
shit
snaps
it out?
off, you know what I mean?
I don't know that, are we, I mean, that to me, if you're talking a truly
You probably need
severed
surgery.
rib where a shard of your rib comes off, that seems like it's probably way more severe than what your typical broken rib is, where I'd imagine it's either a hairline fracture or just a little like a loose tooth or something.
Right.
We're gonna get a lot of good facts from Ryan at the end of this episode too.
Well, dude, this is funny too. So remember my Nicaragua story? Brian Schultz comes to the rescue, picks me up, drives me to Florida.
Yeah.
That whole story. So, we had a great time. And after that had happened, I had texted him things like I sent him the selfies we took, and he like didn't respond. I was like, okay, like whatever, like he's probably busy. Then I think I sent another picture, and then he thumbs upped it, and I was like, okay, like, I thought that we had a good time, and
Oh no,
it was fair. I adhered to our agreement, like everything that we had arranged went through, and I was like, okay. Then like the episode comes out, and a couple people were DMing about it, so I took screenshots of the DMs. I sent them to him, no response, and I'm like, oh, like man, this is.
No.
Weird.
No validation.
Then I had said to him, I'm like, listen, dude, you have season tickets to my shows for life.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm in town or wherever you want to come, tickets on me, like whatever. And he's like, and he doesn't respond to that. And well, I had checked in about the shows, and he didn't respond. And I was like, I just chose not to think about it because it didn't make sense. I'm like, I did not do anything wrong. There's nothing that I can do here. Therefore, I am just gonna not think about this.
Easier said than done.
Fine. I did an okay job. It would come up occasionally. I just kind of like let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Fleeting, A few days before the show, he texts me, hey dude, thinking about coming to so-and-so show. I had been texting the wrong number the whole time. I don't know why they thumbs upped it, bro. Why would you thumbs up a picture that isn't, and it might have even been one of the other car companies that I've been calling trying to get quotes. Maybe I was like, they thought I was rubbing it in their face that I had chosen not to go with them or something. But like, I was so relieved. And he came to the shows and we hung out.
That's great.
Him and his girl and one of his buddies.
That's really great.
Yeah, man.
That reminds me of back in the day when you would meet a girl you really liked when you were really young, and you just battled with yourself over how much to text her.
Totally, dude.
And she wasn't really responding much or even at all. And you're like, maybe she didn't see it. Or maybe she's, in a low cell service area. And eventually you just had to let it go. And that was so uncomfortable and unsettling. And God, those are the worst.
My advice to people who are waking up every day, sort of planning their slew of texts to the girl that they feel is out of their league, just make a decision to belligerently be yourself. If it doesn't work out, it wasn't going to work out anyway.
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting there thinking about what to text the whole day, you're pretty much fucked.
But that assumes a level of maturity where you know what you're going for and how fine you'll be if you don't get it. Where I'm thinking of a specific, when I was younger, I remember there was a girl that I was, really young, and I liked her, and I wanted to hook up with her. We'd hooked up like once or twice, and I was sending her texts, but it was clearly too many, but I just couldn't help myself. Couldn't stop. I was too excited, and I thought I had texted myself out of contention, off of her roster. I had cut myself from her team. And then, because a couple days had gone by, and I had resigned myself to it. And then out of nowhere, I got a text like, hey, want to come over? And it wasn't like a late night thing. It was like middle of the day, like, I'm coming back from a trip, like, let's meet, just come over. And that feeling of like, I'm fucking back.
Oh my God.
I'm fucking back.
It's the best.
I'm back. I was never dead. I was never dead.
I'm back.
I was totally wrong. She liked all those texts. She likes getting texts. I'm gonna send her some more. Oh man, that was the best. That revitalizing, like resuscitating text.
That's great.
Was so good. Just the lifeline, like crawling out of it. She threw me a rope like Christian Bale throwing down the rope to the remaining prisoners after he climbed out of the pit in The Dark Knight Rises. Like we're alive. We're back. We're gonna get the sunlight again. Oh, the best.
Wow.
The best.
And it's funny too, because it's such like, you're not out of the woods yet when that happens, and you think you are, but just you have to remember, as the pathetic person sending the messages, we've all been there. I'm not calling you pathetic. I'm saying
no, I was pathetic.
The person who's in that position, you're unfortunately pathetic, and it's hard to flip the script.
Yeah.
You're not out of the woods. Just because you get one good text that's like, come over, just remember how little that meant to them.
I know.
I'm just saying, like,
that's a pity. It's a pity.
I've been there so many times.
Yeah, it's usually a charitable offering.
I'm really bored.
I'm bored.
I'll exercise my fourth option.
I'm horny, and everyone in my three starting pitchers are icing their elbow for Tommy John surgery. Let's call up that bum from the minors.
Yes,
that I had that mediocre night with at one time.
Throw him in the rotation.
Yeah,
till Smoltz is off the DL. Dude.
I know he's willing. My phone is hot from him texting me. Yeah.
But dude, the thing that's a problem with that dynamic is like, there is a girl out there who encourages you to make her jealous. And in fact, it's the only time where you get her attention. So like, it gets you into this situation. And this is like a young person's game perhaps, but like a situation where now you're being encouraged to get her attention negatively so that she gets mad at you or she gets jealous. And that's the only time where you're like in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And otherwise, once you want to just be normal and chill with them, she's bored now. Avoid that like the plague.
I agree. Getting to a point where you stop measuring the seesaw of the power dynamic is one of the great comforting pleasures of life.
Yeah.
When you get to a relationship where it ceases to matter who likes who more.
Yeah, totally.
Or who is texting the other more or any of that stuff. And you just hit this it's kind of like, to me, in that movie Flight with Denzel Washington, when they're on the plane and they hit a very rough patch of air, and it's before the landing.
I've never seen the movie actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's tremendous.
I gotta watch
That's
it.
a tremendous movie.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, really outstanding. Well, for those of you who have seen it, I'm not giving anything away.
I don't mind.
But it's the first 5 minutes of the movie, and they hit that rough patch of air, and he starts thrusting and throttling the engine forward, and they climb higher, and they finally punch out through the rough clouds, and all of a sudden it's just beautiful sky and clear sailing. That's what it's like to be in that relationship until you inevitably have a piece of the wing fall off, and then all of a sudden you're upside down and hoping to crash land comfortably in a pasture somewhere.
Dude, well said. So I went out. So I've been doing this thing, where it's not really I've been doing this thing, but I've noticed that I've been able to do a good job at sort of like meeting up with people that I know in any part of wherever that I'm performing. There's somebody I can hit up to chill with, right?
Yeah.
In this particular situation, my buddy Jared, who was on the tennis team with me, we were the same year, very, very good friend. Haven't seen him in a while. He lives in Sarasota, which is not far from Tampa. And we went down there to hang out, and he has 3 kids. And dude, it's so funny the way that like a parent with 3 kids, the way that they parent, they always say this, but it is funny. Like you kind of get the feel of it. And by the 3rd kid, it's just like way more relaxed.
You're not worried anymore.
Right. You're just kind of like, and they're really fun. Him and Babs are a great couple. And he actually is a professional golfer. He stopped playing tennis and became a professional golfer. And dude, he was like, he had a tournament in Minnesota, so he had to change which night he came. And like the top 4 got into this PGA event, and like he finished and he was in 1st. And he was like, dude, I might get it. But then like 2 or 3 guys scored better than him. But he finished like 6 under. He's like really fucking good. You guys should play sometime if you're ever in the same place.
It's so cool.
I think you guys would like each other.
I really like men that are good at golf.
Dude, he's so good. But anyway, so he has a kid. He's their 3-year-old kid, bro. I could not believe how good of a swimmer he was. Like they have this little machine that sort of like propels you underwater. And these kids were underwater holding this thing at 3 years old, just like propelling around. And then he would just launch them into the pool. So he's taking this 3-year-old son and just bombing him into the pool, dude. It was just so fun and
I
funny.
can't wait for those days.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, right?
I can't wait for that, to just throw my kid around like he's a chicken. Like he's a dumb chicken. Just toss him around.
Yeah.
Fly. Oh, you can't? Oh,
I know,
too bad.
I know. Dude, I also made this mistake. I did this place Coastal Creative, which is in St. Petersburg. And Danny had made fun of me for referring to Wesley Chapel as Wesley Chapel. He's like, dude, no one says Wesley Chapel, which led me to believe that everybody in the Tampa area just said Tampa for everything. And I literally started my set by being like, good to be in Tampa. And everyone's like, you're not in Tampa. like the thing that like, that's like a cliche.
Yeah, that's
something you don't want to do, saying the wrong city. I think I worked my way back from it, but it took me a sec. And last thing about that, I was able to go visit a national park, my favorite. It was kind of a place that was, if not specifically where, something very similar to what DeSoto would have encountered when he touched land in Tampa originally.
That's a adventure of an explorer I'm not familiar with.
Conquistador. I believe he was the one who was searching for the Fountain of Youth.
DeSoto?
Maybe not.
I don't know.
No, that was Ponce de Leon.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, DeSoto was
I think you're thinking of Tuck Everlasting.
Who's that? I believe Ponce de Leon was the Fountain of Youth person. Thank you, Ryan. I got
Tuck Everlasting was a young adult novel that a lot of people read, where the whole family had drunk from the water of youth.
Oh, the Fountain of Youth. Well, anyway, so it was cool. It was weird. They had just had like cardboard cutouts of Native Americans along the trail. I was kind of like, they maybe haven't redesigned this since like the 90s, but that's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I started like reading back on some of these National Historic Sites that I've visited, just like in detail. Because sometimes when you're there, you've driven, you don't want to read. Dude, so I've been to the Andersonville prison. Do you know about this?
No.
Okay, so the Andersonville prison, it was like one of the most notorious prisoner of war camps in the Civil War. And maybe, I think that they may have been one of the first like prisoner of war camps, period. It was apparently so disgusting and like the most horrible place you could ever be. Like 35% of the people who were there died. And they sent a doctor to evaluate it one time. And within his hour visit, he vomited twice and got the flu.
Jesus.
And I was just like, damn, dude. So anyway, not to just talk about national parks all the time. I know I like to come back to it, but I think it's nice the idea of preserving not only good history, but perhaps shameful history as well, as a reminder.
Yep.
And I know that, you know, no place is perfect about not kind of whitewashing their past a little bit, but it is good that we commemorate these places where bad things happen.
100%.
You know?
100%. Have you watched the new Bill Burr special on Netflix?
No, is it amazing?
I watched the first 25 minutes last night and then got sleepy, and I'm going to finish it tonight. It's excellent. It's at Red Rocks.
That's sick.
And he talks about how, you know, about how many men we're now canceling dead men, you know, and like we've run out of men who are actively doing wrong things at the workplace. We've got them all, he says. And so now we're going back to dead men. And John Wayne, in a 1971 Playboy article, said something totally controversial about how, said something about how sometimes you need to smack a woman or something like that. And yeah, it's bad. But he was like, if we're gonna do that, why aren't we canceling women too? There are plenty of women who've done horrible things in history. Coco Chanel was a Nazi sympathizer.
Oh, interesting.
And he does this bit about how much worse that is than what John Wayne said that I was fucking dying at.
It's amazing.
Dude. It's so funny. He's like,
so good,
you ever see those Holocaust movies with the piles of shoes? Like
Oh,
Coco
God.
Chanel sucked the dick of a guy who did that.
Oh my God.
And he's like, compare that to a guy who's like, every once in a while, or it was Sean Connery. He's like, every once in a while, you got to kind of mess him around or something. I don't know. It's very, very funny.
Dude, I gotta watch it. I'm
and
excited.
He has the ability to do that thing where you just take a very, very clearly controversial, if not wrong, take and then defend it through humor, which, you know, is very funny to some and then enraging to many others.
Dude, it's like I've seen him like I watched him in the Garden one time and I remember him saying something and everyone was like, ooh, and he goes, shut up. Which is just such an insane, funny thing to do. And then he just has like fucking heaters to back that up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, his special's an hour and 22 minutes. Dude,
Jesus,
he is
dude.
so good for so long.
It's crazy.
That it's really it's I don't know. To me, it's like watching somebody doing the math on a person who wins a marathon. Where like you're like, you ran fucking 5-minute 25-second miles the whole time.
That's such a good comparison.
That's like when you crank the treadmill to 11
yeah.
and you held that for fucking 26 miles, it's everything I can do to just time my feet correctly on the treadmill at 11 and
Right.
not fall off,
Right.
let alone decide that that's my comfortable pace.
Dude, it's crazy. I know.
For 3 hours.
I know. It's
Yeah.
it's bonkers. I gotta check that out. Looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
So dude, remember I told you about the CVS lady has been coming on to me? Was there more of that?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, she's funny, but she started to like ramp up her efforts,
Uh-huh.
which is starting to be a little slightly concerning.
It's because you haven't nipped it.
What am I supposed to do?
Just go to a different pharmacy.
I know, but this is where like my medicine goes to. It's easy. It's just so convenient.
You can switch your medicine pretty easily.
I can switch the place.
You just tell your doctor, okay, instead of that one, do the one that's 20 feet away.
Okay, fine. Like you're right. There are things to be done, and it's still fine. But dude, like I walk in there today. She goes, "Where is she? I'ma fuck her up."
Oh my God.
She's begun to sort of. It's still jokey, but like
Okay.
she's begun to assault Hillary.
Is this a true CVS?
Yes. I know what you're thinking,
There's a lawsuit.
dude.
There's a lawsuit coming
Dude, wait.
for you.
Hold on.
That's very lucrative.
Should we-
Don't stop it. Keep going.
I'm gonna fuck her up, and then she has now started to take my hand and put it over her heart to feel her heartbeat.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And then she goes, I get paid Friday. She's like, I'm gonna make you dinner. She's like, you're never gonna go back once you spend like a night with me. Like she keeps saying shit like that.
Wow.
Dude, I did an audio recording actually because one of my boys didn't believe me, and then I actually brought him into the store with me to see it. I was like, dude, watch this. She goes, oh, he's here. But dude, she's a nice lady. I feel bad, like
No.
yeah,
She's
I know
a treasure chest waiting to be opened. You are sitting on a gold mine. That she took your hand and put it on her chest.
she did.
That's sexual assault.
Dude, I need to do this publicly if I were to do it. I don't want to be that guy, bro. I got
What do you
sexually
mean
assaulted.
that guy? The rich guy? You don't want to be the rich guy?
It's dirty money, dude. I'm not doing that.
Do you know how many people have made money that way?
I know, but dude, they're pieces of shit, those people.
Fine.
I'm gonna fuck her up.
There are also people who have made money from these kinds of cases that were way more it was way worse in terms of what they're taking advantage of their victimhood than you. You had a woman that works for a corporation of that size saying she's going to physically assault your girlfriend.
And then she goes, "Don't bring her in here. Don't you bring her in here. To the point where I do not bring her in there.
That's a threat. That's a threat. That's as clear as day. That's as clear as day.
Should I throw the road mics on next time I go in there?
I'm trying to think what we need to do
Line it up
to trap this. And I fear that even talking about it on the podcast is us showing our hand too much. But I'm trying to think, okay.
Maybe blank out the CVS, us saying CVS.
No. Because you're not going to do
How?
it. You're not actually.
You're right.
You're not actually going to do it, right?
No.
Okay, so then it's just for fun and games. But I think what you do is you bring Hill Dog in, right?
Dude, all she'll do, I'm sorry to interrupt you, she'll just look at me when I'm not looking and she'll start going, I'm gonna fuck her up. Like whispering it.
And then next thing you know, Hill Dog trips over a rug that's got a corner up, which, shouldn't have, or there's a floor in there that's slippery when wet, but no sign up that says slippery when wet.
Uh-huh.
Hill Dog falls, cracks her elbow. Turns out that lady did the mop up. It was all a long con to hobble your beautiful girlfriend.
So that she could swoop in.
And then that's the lawsuit right there.
I don't know, man. But I think you're right, though. Like, I think there's, without a doubt, a lawsuit there.
Yeah, you can't do that. At the very least, you could probably get free seasonal Reese's peanut butter cups.
The Christmas
for
tree.
life. The Christmas tree, the Easter egg, the Halloween pumpkin. Which is what you want when you go in there. I mean,
dude, they're so goddamn
that's
good.
probably maybe unlimited like Swiffer wipes.
Yeah,
and
right.
some
Diapers.
Red Zone deodorant. The stuff behind the locked case.
Mountain Dew.
Gillette razor blades.
Dude, it is, but it's crazy. I mean, and I've said this before, but some days, and I'm like, I'm dreading going in there because I'm just like not feeling like I'm looking my best. And what I'm the most afraid of is her deciding that her heart no longer flutters for me.
Well, now you're inviting it. Now we have lost the lawsuit.
No, bro. But I don't.
It means you're dressing up. You're asking for it, which you're never supposed to say about the victim. But we are saying it here because you just admitted to it.
No, but I'm being me. I'm like being me too'd in a way.
But you just said that you wear the right clothes to solicit this type of attention.
No, I'm not trying to solicit the attention. I just don't want her to change her mind. I don't want her to decide that she no longer finds me attractive. That'll hurt my feelings somehow. So now I'm like beholden to this like person of power in this environment, and somehow my like self-worth is attached to it. This is a stretch.
No. I mean now you've brought us back more towards your side, I would say. I mean, this in a weird, fucked up way does show the incredible, like, convoluted nature of a lot of, I think, of these cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just so much at play. But yeah,
They'd probably settle.
you think?
You think I get with $500,000?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's to your point. Do you remember? I always think about the Tracy Morgan case where he was in the limousine and the Walmart truck barreled down and put them in a coma, and he won tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, Artie Fuqua.
Yeah, with Artie. And that Walmart settled it as quickly as possible because Tracy Morgan was such a high profile person that they just there was no solution to stop having their name associated with this other than to give him whatever he wanted, basically.
Right.
And I don't know, are we high profile enough that CVS would be like, we can't afford to have them keep talking about this on the podcast?
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what can we do to elevate and gain more listeners and place us on a more national spotlight stage such that when the ultimate, she just stuck her hands down your pants or something like that, or clocks Hillary in the jaw happens, we can say to CBS, listen, we have 15 million listeners. Joe Rogan just asked us to come on his podcast to tell the story. We won't for the right price, which is a lifetime supply of Christmas tree Reese's peanut butter cups. And they better be cold.
And they better not be old.
They better be cold and not old.
Because, dude, yeah, like when sometimes they'll linger for a bit, and then, you know, all of a sudden the Christmas trees are still there in February, and now they're sort of
they're really on sale.
They're like 95% off. We don't want that.
No, we don't
want
that.
Nothing later than January 6th trees.
We want the No, I'll go even farther.
Oh, wow.
We want the pre-holiday trees.
You want the Black Friday
as
tree.
As soon as the holiday is passed, you better give us the early edition Easter eggs from in January. You better find a way to get us those goddamn candies. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh God, dude. Oh man. Speaking of candy, I made a huge mistake.
What?
So
honest mistake or dishonest mistake?
I think this would go under the category of dishonest mistake, probably.
Right.
Dishonest mistake. Because I knew what I was doing. This was a first degree premeditated attack on myself.
What did you do?
So I went to Philly to do Matt McCusker's show. It's like a new joke show at Helium on Monday night. It was really fun. And it's fun to do a show where the whole audience is aware you're not confident in the jokes you're telling because it's all new stuff.
Right.
And they're on your side about it, and it's kind of fun for them. So I went and did that. And then I had to drive home, and it was late Monday night, and I had such a small eating day, just out of nowhere.
How small?
Like nothing. I had a bowl of oats at breakfast, and then I hadn't had anything since then, to the degree that in the green room at Helium, you know, they have like a bar food menu, and I was like, I will pass out if I don't eat something. And I didn't want any of this. People were ordering mozzarella sticks and stuff. And I was like, all right, just get me the chicken sandwich. It's got like some avocado in it. And I ate that. And I was like, all right. So on the way home, I had to stop and charge the Tesla. And
How long does that take?
20 minutes, 25 minutes.
How do you find a station to do it?
The GPS in the Tesla's software adds a stop on your route.
Sick.
That's sick. It gives you the route that's the longest. And then the screen in the Tesla has games.
Oh, that's fucking
and
sick.
Netflix.
It's a big ass screen too.
And it has a Netflix.
That's so sick.
Like thing and Hulu and all that. You can either watch a show or I just play chess against the computer and lose 100% of the time. Not only do I lose, I get smoked and I get mad at the car. I get furious.
Hitting the console.
And I'm just constantly restarting the game when it's taken a piece and like put me in a. And the problem is there's the lowest level, which is too easy. It's like playing a child, right? And then the next level up is impossible.
Right.
I've beaten it one time and I have no idea how I did it. And I love chess, but I lose 100% of the time. Okay, this was the issue, right? I pulled in. I didn't know what kind of place I was going into. Sometimes these charging stations are just, they're in parking garages, which is really shitty. But a lot of the time, the best are ones that on the highway are just service stations. You just drive right off the highway, you charge, maybe you run in, take a piss, grab a water or whatever, and then get back on the highway. And this was a really nice gas station. Huge. The second I saw how large the gas station was, I knew I was in trouble. Because I knew they were going to have an enormous variety of treats.
Like they would have like the sort of homemade beef jerky station.
They were going to have lots to offer.
Yeah.
And I was still so hungry that I knew I was in big trouble. I was in big trouble. And I was like, just don't even go in. I had water. I was like, don't even go in. Something happened. I was like, I got to see what's in there. So I walked in, I made that walk, locked the car, let it charge, walked in to this. I mean, you could have had a fucking town hall meeting.
There's a roller coaster in there, dude.
Yeah. And I walked in, so well lit, so many choices, aisle after aisle. They had even the, they had obviously normal sized candy, but they also had, like, let's call it share-sized bags of candy, bags of sour Skittles, bags of Sprees, regular Skittles, every flavor of regular Skittles. The big one, the resealable bag. And I'm like,
Oh boy.
I'm in trouble here. And I was like, well, I already had dinner, so this will just be dessert. But I have an hour and 45-minute drive home. Sierra's not here to tell me,
Oh yeah, don't
stop.
do it. Don't do it, bad boy.
And I first went over to the frozen thing, and I got a frozen Snickers bar.
Like a Snickers ice cream or a frozen Snickers?
Snickers ice cream.
They're the best fucking thing on
I
earth.
got a Snickers ice cream bar.
Oh, they're so good.
And then I got a Ben & Jerry's chocolate covered cookie dough sort of sandwich thing that they have.
Oh my
The
god.
single one, the wrapped one.
Hell yeah.
So I got those two things, and I was like, all right, that's my entree.
We're all so we are all watching Francis licking our fucking lips, dude.
Yeah.
Like we're waiting for him to pull his dick out or something so we can all attack it.
I had gotten those. I got those two things as my vegetable course, as my vegetable healthy course. That was the meat of the meal. And then I went back to the candy aisle, and I was like, well, I haven't had candy in a long time. I don't eat candy. I'm really disciplined about candy. And I spent a long time thinking. I spent so much time thinking that the Snickers ice cream bar was ready to be eaten. It was good. You know, you need to give it a
sometimes
minute.
it's too hard.
You need to give it a minute so that the caramel is just runny enough.
Yeah.
And that you know,
Yeah, I do.
you need that. You don't want to bite into it and have to chew
Yeah.
hard. So I'm in the candy aisle, and here's what I went with. I got they had these like gourmet gummy bears. They had the Haribos.
I sent Chris a picture of gummy bears the other night.
They had the Haribos.
Oh, those are good.
The Haribos, but I did not get those. They had another bag that was even bigger. It looked like it was made by someone local, who
It might have been.
who I don't even know, but it was beautifully wrapped, and it was resealable, and it was enormous. And I thought, oh, I have to try those. I bet those are better than the Haribos. So I got those.
What was the bag? White and red?
It was definitely white.
I think that these are the ones that Chris got me for my birthday. Chris got me these like a giant bag of Albanese gummy bears.
That might be the one.
They're so fucking good, and I sent him a picture of them on Saturday.
No, those were
that's
not the
it?
ones I
Okay,
got.
okay.
That's
Thank you,
not the
Ryan.
one I have them still.
Those are okay.
I put them in the
Okay, so
glove
I'd like to see.
compartment. It's the only treat that I didn't destroy the evidence of at the end of the night when
They're
I
probably
arrived home.
melted by now.
So I got those, and then I got a big bag of Sour Patch Kids.
What? You ate them all?
And then, well, hold on. And
Oh
then
my
I got a king size Reese's Cups. The assortment of Reese's Cup products they had was nothing short of revolutionary.
White chocolate, dark chocolate, Reese's Pieces in the...
Dude, they had ones that had potato chips in them.
What?
I'd never seen that before, and I
What?
thought about. They had the big cup versions, the king size cup versions of everything.
Wow, dude.
King size white chocolate,
God,
king
they're
size
so fucking good.
with the pieces in the middle.
Yep.
And I just went with the king size sleeve of the. They had regular king size sleeve. They had the white chocolate king size sleeve. They had the peanut butter lover sleeve, which was just peanut butter on peanut butter.
Wow.
But I thought that's not enough. That's too much.
Yeah.
So I got the peanut butter lovers, which was like half as much chocolate, double the peanut butter.
Oh, wow.
I got that.
How was it?
It's pretty fucking good.
Dude, was this the Hershey's gas station that you're at or something? Or the Reese's gas station?
I don't know, but
That's crazy.
I feel like if I drove back and tried to find it, it'd be disappeared.
Right.
It'd be gone.
It was like Alice in
It was a
Wonderland.
one time thing.
Damn, dude.
So I got that, and then I got the Sour Patch. And by the way, deciding between regular Sour Patch and Sour Patch watermelons was a Sophie's choice that I would not wish upon my
a
worst
tough one.
enemy.
That's a tough one.
But I went with the regular assorted Sour Patch. And dude, I bought all these things for the sake of variety, thinking
You'd only have
I'm
a little
only
of
going to
each.
eat a few of each.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
Oh, man.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop. I ate all of the Sour Patch,
Wow.
3 of the 4 Reese's Cups. I ate all of the ice cream,
Did you eat the ice cream first?
First, had to.
Is there anything better than ice cream, dude?
It's the vegetable course. I had to earn the dessert. And then I ate only a handful of the gummy bears, in truth. I was actually somewhat disciplined about that. So much. And then, so I still had stuff left in the Reese's thing. I still had, and I threw everything away down the chute, the trash chute. I didn't want to bring it into the house, put it in the trash, and have Sierra discover it.
Right.
I had a difficult time getting to sleep.
Yeah,
I really did.
Your tum-tum. Dude, on a night like that, I would probably just sleep on the couch.
I deserved to sleep on the floor or the car. I was so undisciplined. It was such a disaster. And the reason that this all happened was because I hadn't eaten enough during the day.
You burned the candle too hard.
I was like, oh my God, you have to be giving yourself, avoiding cravings is the only way to stave that off for me.
Right. You need to take a little bit of methadone to avoid the full-on heroin impulse.
But there's also this moment where you accept your fate and you're alone in a gas station of that caliber that is very freeing, where you're like, I'm going nuts.
Agreed. When you commit, like the pizza party, same shit, dude. I was like, oh, I'm eating all the pizza. I'm eating garlic knots and I'm eating cake.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Something about that where it's like, I am going to destroy myself. I'm blowing up and I'm going to enjoy it and pay the price later.
And at the end of the day, one day like that is significantly better than a steady habit. However, by introducing those flavors into your mouth, you then start to crave them for a while.
Yeah.
But
there was a moment as I got in line for the self-checkout where I passed a cooler that had sodas and I saw root beer. And I was like, should I get a root beer? And I went, I'm not an animal. Even in the glazed over eyes, kind of completely lost my will state that I was in, I still had the ability to say, I'm not an animal enough to drink soda. Soda is a bridge too far. That is the black tar heroin to the person who's casually dabbling in prescription painkillers somehow.
Dude, I used to do this. Like, I mean, granted, the town I grew up in, there's only one place to get stuff. There's one gas station, and it only got there in high school. There was nothing before that. And then if you want to go to Taco Bell, it's like 35 minutes away. But like, we would go to this one gas station, and I think I've talked about this in some degree, but I would get super stoned, and I would get Nesquik, strawberry Nesquik, a Mountain Dew Code Red, a Snickers ice cream bar, the green bag of Funyuns, and then some sort of gelatin-based gummy bear, a small bag. But I would eat every single weekend.
And you got the same order every time?
Like the gummy bears would vary, and then sometimes I would get regular Mountain Dew instead of Mountain Dew Code Red. But
strawberry Nesquik, you're talking the strawberry milk?
Yes.
That is disgusting. That is bad. Dude. What's the matter with you, bro?
I look back on it now, and I just don't think I could even handle it from a stomach perspective. I don't find it as intriguing as I once did, but I don't know.
That's nuts.
Great. But whatever. It reminded me you did better than I had done, but I was doing that every single weekend. So.
I think for me, the joy is in the selection process. And that's why I'm surprised that you had a prescription for yourself.
True. Yeah. Actually, it doesn't line up with who I like. I'm the guy who will buy that new limited item, and then everyone's like, "You bought that?" And it'll be like the whatever, like the Airhead fucking Extremes.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta tell you,
those are actually a thing, right? Yeah. You know what I mean, though.
Those limited items. Sometimes those limited items can be a real hit.
Yeah, I know.
Can be a
and
real.
It's fun
hit.
to find something that's that good.
Yeah.
You know?
I gotta say, I knew that the Tesla was gonna take 25 minutes to charge, and walking into that gas station knowing that I had 25 minutes to make my selection was one of them. I just like to have time. To have time. Like that,
right.
To browse.
It's fun.
Was really a thrill.
I'm happy it worked out for you, man.
Right.
And hopefully not anytime too soon, especially with the wedding on
the
horizon. Big
I know.
I'm doing fuck with you. I'm happy for
No,
you.
no, I'm with you.
You're very disciplined, so I'm glad that you had some fun.
It's time to start being aware of it, I think. We're a little out, over a month out, a month and a week. As soon as we hit the 1 month mark, I don't know. I don't really need to do much.
No, you look
but
great.
I think for the sake of like playing the wedding's coming game, I'll just button it down just for the sake of seeing if I can discipline myself.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit some facts with Ryan. Ryan, what do we got?
Yeah. Here comes Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan. Is he lying? Are we lying? Facts with Ryan. Something like that.
I like that. That's a good start.
We'll figure out a jingle.
The jingle.
Okay. So dating back to our previous conversation about hitting somebody by accident, there's a lot out there, but my consensus that I got for involuntary vehicular manslaughter is that there would be an investigation. You'd be taken in. They would see if you were driving sober, you were driving the speed limit, and then if you were, you'll be fine.
Okay, so
you'll be free.
It won't be manslaughter. It won't be involuntary vehicular manslaughter.
You will get it wiped.
It sounds as if you have to have been negligent in some way.
But dude, the term involuntary vehicular manslaughter to me sounds like it's not your fault. Like that's what they would call it if they thought you deserved none of the blame.
No, so involuntary, that would mean if you were driving under the influence or reckless.
Right.
Because you weren't intending to hit them.
You didn't try to do it, but you were an idiot, and therefore, because of your idiocy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Makes sense.
All right.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
As for the snow, there was a lot out there. I could pinpoint your memory as a child with a little bit of information. In 1996 in New Jersey, there was a huge nor'easter where New Jersey got up to 4 feet of snow.
He was gone.
1996, you were 7 years old?
We had moved to Maine already.
Oh, you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
4 feet. That's
crazy.
Nuts. That's crazy.
The average punctured lung takes between 6 and 8 weeks to heal.
Oh,
a fractured rib takes about 6 weeks to heal. The children's swimming propeller that you were talking about, just one on the market, is the Yamaha Explorer C scooter. It's actually on sale right now for $312.33. That's $15.33 below the average price. So if you want one, now's the time.
That's amazing.
Everyone's a Bill Burr fan, but just fun fact, he's 54.
Nice.
CVS, if you were to sue CVS for sexual harassment based on how many employees they have, if you were to settle, it'll probably be around $300,000.
Bro.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Just to settle. And then I actually looked this up before you brought it up. There are 63 different types of Reese's products.
Wow. That's crazy.
Good for them.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
I'm in Seattle tonight. The Crocodile. Come check it out. It should be a great show. I'm really excited to see you.
Hell yeah. I'm in St. Louis tonight with Lil Sass from Barstool. Come out. We're here Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Come to any night. It's going to be really fun. And Helium, that's Helium St. Louis. Tickets at francisellis.com. Also in Jersey City next week, August 4th. And Red Bank, New Jersey, where I was born, August 10th. Tickets at francisellis.com. Thank you, guys. That's Oops the Podcast. We'll see you next week.